first time I met JP, he was volunteering with us here. I remember the first time when he went on the boat, he was just excited. I mean, he was overly excited. Just a guy that loves to be on the boat, loves to be on the ocean, loves to be around sharks.
So the first time I saw a great white shark, I was 12, and I went with my family. We went to visit South Africa, and we went to Cape Town. Then there was the opportunity to go and see great white sharks. They are my favorite animals, so I had to go and watch them. So only me and my dad, we went to the boat. We were the only brave ones to go and watch the sharks. Everything was amazing on that trip. We saw massive sharks, and my dad managed to get a beautiful photo of the shark jumping out of the water, so breaching, and I managed to get that on video, and that was it. I was hooked for Africa, and I knew I had to come back to see at least again the great white sharks. So when I returned, I was already 16, and I went back as a volunteer, and the whole thing was just amazing. South African perfumes, huh? Yeah, Manda, deep breath, come on. Super happy to be back to my beautiful sharks. It was the first time I finally went to the cage, freezing cold, but we had this amazing thing of a shark coming and even bumping into the cage and making a very weird sound. It looked like metal and rubber. And we had the most amazing sharks. All this documentary, all of the footages that I have, actually they were filmed in a very funny way. I grabbed my Gopro and I tied it with duct tape on the end of the broomstick. I had quite a big broomstick, and then every time the sharks would come past near the boat, I would dive in the GoPro to be able to film and to get as close as personal to the great white sharks. Sadly, this is not the GoPro that filmed all the sharks. That one, sadly, a great white shark destroyed it. Let's just say I was not fast enough to remove the camera from the sharks, so he grabbed the GoPro and completely destroyed it. So the first time I was in the cage, the only things I can remember is how cold it was, how nervous I was. It's like a big mixture of adrenaline, because you're now in the water, the waves are coming, the water is freezing cold, 14 Celsius degrees. It's hectic, cold. And then the shark comes. They just go down, shark, and you have to pull yourself and drop and try to see the shark. I don't know why I created a tradition, which was no matter who it was, every time the first new volunteer would come, everyone, some of the crew members and all the volunteers, we would have to go all in one time at the cage, but without wetsuits. And that was a horrible idea. I'm super skinny. My friend. Oh, Jesus. Okay, from 0 to 10, minus 10. One of the coolest parts of the job was the shark data. So every time we would have one of the volunteers sitting on the top of the boat, and his or her job was look at the shark. The shark only stays around 3 to 4 seconds, and you have to try to guess size, sex, and look at the fins, dorsal fin, back fin, caudal fin, everything, bite marks, and take a note of everything. And then behavior, aggressive, calm, smooth, went for the bait, didn't went for the bait. So you would have your favorite sharks, the ones that would throw a big show, and the ones that were just, they were just nice. We had Rosie, a tiny little female, 2.5 meters, and she was very inquisitive, always checking the cage, always checking my camera too many times. So little Rosie was also very, very funny. The way I did manage to film the sharks was actually I was sitting on the engine, so outside of the boat I would sit on the engine with my feet touching the water. And one day I'm filming one shark, then I feel something shaking. I look behind me and go, there's a big splash, very big splash. And I'm like, what happened? And the volunteer that was taking the data, he just says, a great white shark just went for your feet and missed it by this. So from that day on, I remember to always pull my feet up and never be with the feet touching the water. Nothing, but nothing beats Diva. Diva, she was a 3.5 meter female. The first time I saw her, I knew she was a special shark. I knew she was something else, something different. The reason why I knew that it was because it was the first time we saw that shark and the first time she got the bait. So just like that, we lost the bait. We had to put it again. We throw the water back and then again, she takes the bait with no chance. I named it Diva because she would never come if there was other sharks around. No. It's her show. And that's why I loved Diva.
He saw Diva, and I think it's almost like he instantly fell in love. That day on the way back, that was the only thing he talked about, just Diva, the shark Diva. He actually named her Diva and nothing else. He was just talking about her. Every day when we went out again, he was just talking about Diva. One thing that I remember, and I won't forget this ever, I think it was one of his last days before his time was up. We went on a trip and we were about an hour and a half into the trip, but no sightings of anything, not even a fish, nothing. And he wrote a song. He wrote a song for Diva, and it was on the music of Piano Man. And he just decided about halfway through the trip, he's gonna chum and he's gonna play this music and he's gonna sing the song. He did that, played the music, started singing. About, I think, just not even 30 seconds, then Diva just came up. It's almost like she heard him, and we all were stumped.
Everyone sees the fin. Everyone starts yelling, Diva! Everyone goes crazy. Everyone, the crew members, the poor tourists, they had no idea what was happening. But when we start telling them the story that I wrote this song for her, everyone start calling me Shark Whisperer.
We didn't know what's going on, and she just came up, almost like coming to say goodbye to him, and it was just almost like a connection that the two of them had. That's just something that I'll never forget it. And even years after, he's still just talking about Diva. He always asks me, have we seen Diva? How's she doing? How's she look like? It's just something I think I think it was his first love.
Now, sharks are extremely important in their environment. They mostly occupy the top of the food chains where they live, and therefore they control that food chain. I'll give you a very classic example. Many years ago, in the 1950s, there was a time where white sharks were nearly wiped out from the shores of California, which of course made the pinniped population, so that's sea lions and seals, increase dramatically, which of course those animals then ate all of the mackerel and sardines and all of the other small teleosts that they fed upon, which had a dire effect in the local economy. So really, sharks are extremely important in their environment. So these are just few examples. I could be here all day telling you about how fascinating sharks are, the extraordinary predators that they are, how they control food chains in the oceans and maintain balance in the oceans. So really, we should look at them with a lot of respect and cherish them, because as you may have heard, there's some horrible things happening to sharks worldwide, and we really need to pay attention to them.
Years later, if I'm not mistaken, I went one day hoping Diva would be there. Everyone was happy to be back, and I asked for Diva, and they said the last time we saw Diva was that day that I sang to her. We need to protect the sharks.